I want to flip-flop the two. I don't know if there's
Yeah,
much
let's
discussion
do
with
that.
4, but I think
Do
5
you want
was
me
really
to
quick.
make a motion to amend the
Sure.
agenda and get to that?
Sure. Let me get to the event. Okay. We're good? All right. We'll begin the meeting for the Protection and Welfare Committee for Monday, January 8th, the new year 2018. City Hall, room 207. It is 5 o'clock. The roll call, Alder Zima.
Here.
Alder Dorf.
Here.
Alder Galvin.
Here.
And Alder Scannell. Here. All are present. I'll take a motion for the agenda.
I'd like to amend the agenda to move item 5 before item 4.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to rearrange our agenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, we have a new agenda. Then a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alder Zimmer, second by Alder Dorf. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passes. Let's go right on to request by the owners of St. Brennan's Inn.
Approval of the minutes.
Huh? Oh, approval of the minutes. Yep, I'm sorry. Thank you. Approval of the minutes from December 11th, 2017 meeting.
Move to approve.
Mr. by Alder Dorf. Second by Alder Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, we have our minutes approved. Item number 5 now. 4, request by the owners of St. Brennan's Inn, 234 South Washington Street, to hold outdoor events on March 9th to 11th and March 17th and 18th in this year, 2018. Staff?
Law department has no objections.
The police department concurs.
They concur.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I guess I just got one question. We didn't get permission from the council
Mhm.
to act
I don't think we need to.
without the...
There's still time,
It's not till
because
March.
next
Oh, this is
March.
March. I'm sorry. I was thinking tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Nope.
No problem.
Okay, all right. Motion in the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? They're good.
St. Baldrick's.
St. Baldrick's and St. Patty's.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item.
I just want to, I think
Oh,
the chair was
sure.
going to mention that anything that we decide.
Oh, yes. Well, she knows this routine, but I should.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything that we decide here is just a recommendation. The council makes the final decision. That'll be meeting next Monday
Yes.
because we changed it.
We changed it to
Tuesday.
Monday.
So,
All right, thank you.
yep.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks. Boy, a new year and I'm all scatterbrained. Our final agenda item, request by Chief Smith to refer the Protection and Welfare Committee, the communication to conduct pre-hearings pursuant to Green Bay Municipal Code 33, Chapter 7, .07, subsection 4, for the alleged liquor law violations by the following: GCS East, 1593 East Mason Street, Daniel Pampern, agent. And staff?
This is an item that was held over from last month's meeting because the licensee wasn't present at the time. So a second notice was issued to the accused licensee of tonight's meeting as requested. I believe the committee is familiar with the process of tonight's pre-hearing because we kind of went over it at the last meeting, so I won't go over the full details again. I just want to reiterate that tonight's hearing is informal. There's no evidence or testimony presented. The police department will first present the allegations as filed or as referred, and the licensee will have an opportunity to respond. The committee can then make a determination whether to issue a letter of warning, take no action, or recommend that a full hearing be held.
Okay?
Yep.
There was 2 violations at this establishment. We did compliance checks as a police department, random compliance checks throughout the city on March 30th and November 7th of 2017. 1593 East Mason was one of the addresses that we checked both times. On both instances, we had 2 officers assigned to this duty, and then we had a community service intern as the underage buyer. They were either 19 or 20 years old, and obviously they weren't in uniform. They went in and attempted to purchase alcohol. They were either 19 or 20 years old. They were asked to use their own identification if asked. In both occurrences, it was different clerks. In both occurrences, they were not asked for their ID, and they were sold alcohol. The officers then went back in and issued citations to the clerks. They were cooperative. and the owner was notified.
These are pending cases yet, or have they been resolved?
I didn't look at the dispo on them. I can only guess that the one from November 7th may be still pending, but the one from March 30th is probably already disposed out.
It was October 7th.
It says October
October.
7th on ours, but it may, which one's the error?
Should be March 30th and October 7th.
It's November.
So there was a typo on the,
Okay,
Police department's always correct.
of course.
Oh, we stand corrected, thank you.
Yeah, there's a dispo here for, no, that's Belt Avenue. From Grand Central as well.
There's one right here, this is dispo. First page. That's the one from March.
okay.
Yeah, pled guilty.
Is there any prior record to these owners at other establishments?
No, I don't believe so. There's a dispo in the second one also.
Well, they've got one on Belt for Grand Central.
No, it's on the second to last page, on the back page, it was pled guilty.
But you were asking if there was any other violations by Grand Central or by this store in particular?
I don't know if it's all owned by the same.
Grand Central is a LLC.
We don't have one on Belt, though. Sorry.
Well,
Which one are you looking at, Alderman Galvin?
On page 3, about midway down. Yeah, it must be another typo because it says Grand Central 1053 Belt.
Don't say that.
That's a shell.
Shell, yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, the two dispos that you're looking for are in this paper.
There, the second one's here. Do we want a motion to
I think
I would-
that's a different owner, I think.
Yeah, if it's a shell on Velp, it's not a, I don't think it's called Grand Central, I agree.
I don't think it's called Grand Central.
I don't think so either,
I think it's just probably a mistake.
yeah.
Motion to open the floor?
Second.
Motion by Alder Dorf to open the floor, second by Alder Galvin, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anyone here to speak up on this?
Yeah, that's me.
Please,
Sorry, I was trying to bite my tongue a little bit there.
yeah, state your name and address.
Jacob Anderson, 1391 Finch Lane, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54313. Mr. Pamperin is unable to be here, so I'm here representing Grand Central.
Okay.
Just to clarify, we don't own the one on 1053. It is a shell, but it's not anything to do with our operations.
Okay.
So, and I'm unaware of the March 30th. Is that the one on March 30th?
March 30th, yes.
Yeah, that's, so I wasn't informed of that one.
Are you aware of any others? or-
So the November 7th one is the one I'm aware of. We have a zero tolerance policy. Unfortunately, this clerk failed to check the minor. He was terminated that same day. I brought, from his personnel file, I brought proof that we did everything we're supposed to do as far as training him and everything. Ran through a whole liquor liability agreement. We do everything in our power to make sure they're following the policy. The best thing we can do is have our zero tolerance policy like we have. We have never veered from that. As soon as somebody does sell to a minor, it's no questions asked. It's immediate termination. So that definitely, makes it well known throughout our organization. But some people are just, and he was an overall good employee. He was been there for over a year. So we don't show any favoritism for long-term employees. It's just unfortunate for everybody, including the zero tolerance policy. We have the registers require that they physically enter a birth date in there. We're looking at investing in scanners that'll do 2D scanners so they can scan the ID. We hired a full-time training manager to be out in the stores training so we can further enforce this. Just one of those things that we're trying the best we can, but unfortunately one time we do 99.9% of them, they do what they're supposed to, but unfortunately we do get one of these that doesn't ask, so.
Question? Okay, thank you. Motion to close the floor.
Motion to close the floor?
Second?
Motion to close the floor by Alder Galvin, second by Alder Dorf. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Floor is now closed. It's now amongst us. Yes, go
I
ahead.
it sounds like they're doing everything humanly possible, and that someone made a mistake, and unfortunately it cost them their job. I'm not sure what more a business could do
Mhm.
than what they're doing.
And if I could just say, in his behalf, he said minors. We don't use minors for this. It's 19 and 20 years old, so they're not like selling to 15,
Oh.
14-year-olds. These were 19 and 20-year-old police department employees
Mhm.
that we send in that are trained to do this. So,
Can I get it? Can I get that job?
you're too old.
I agree. I think the others didn't have a zero tolerance policy.
No.
So I could see sending a letter, but I feel that they're on top of it with the training they do. They're on top of it with the consequences. They're working to advance their business with technology that'll make things easier for everybody. I'm fine with just the report and
Right.
receive and place on file, or I guess that would be the,
What are the options again?
Well,
No action.
no action.
To issue a letter of warning
No action.
and to refer for a full hearing.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I would move for no action.
I'll second that.
Motion by Alder Dorf for no action, seconded by Alder Galvin. Any other discussion?
Well, you have 2 violations in a year here.
Yeah.
And in the other cases, we sent a letter, and I really feel we should follow suit with that. I don't know if they look back in the record at all or not. I know Grand Central in the past has had other violations, but I think it was a previous owner, a different owner. I think it was owned by Ryans at that time. So I don't know if there's any more, but we got 2 in here, and it's fine, everything that they're doing. But I think at the very least you have to put it on the record to send a letter. 2 in 1 year is not nothing. So I would make a motion to amend that to send a warning letter. That doesn't, it puts it on the record, but it doesn't prevent them from operating or anything else.
I do believe this is still on the record, that the
It's-
violations, they don't go away.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess the reason I'm not necessarily agreeing with Alder Zimmerman, he makes a good point. The others all had 2 violations too. But the others didn't have some of the systems in place that Grand Central has, the training, the safety manager. They have a zero tolerance, which means it should be well known within their company if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and they even have a policy where you're supposed to be entering in the date of birth. The others, although they all acknowledge that what happened was wrong and they want to prevent underage people from buying, they didn't have all those systems in place, and that's the reason why I'm willing to give them a pass on this one. But that's the only reason. Otherwise, if they were to get another compliance check this spring and it would happen again, I'd say they need to do more. And I would, at that point, consider a letter at that time. But that's why I'm not doing it now.
Okay. Alder Dorf?
For very similar reasons, I don't feel the need to send the letter. They terminated the clerk. They have gone above and beyond what the other businesses did as far as dealing with violations and with prevention, and they recognize what they need to do. They'll continue to do that. That's, at this point, I don't think a letter's necessary. We'd have to
So-
open the floor again. He wants to speak. I would.
What would you like to, okay,
Motion to open the floor.
motion on the floor by Alder Dorf, second by Alder Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, just,
It was the first violation. I think we talked, the March 30th one was a different location.
No, same story.
It
Oh, was
is,
this-
the March
Yes.
30, yeah, there's another one, but it is Tommy Coleman is the name.
Okay. Okay, so it's the same
The name
story.
of the clerk.
That would be what?
the clerk,
The clerk
Oh.
who the citation was issued to.
too, yes. not the
Oh, okay.
store owner.
That's- Oh, okay.
Okay, but the one on Velp, that was a different.
Yeah,
No, that's a whole different, that's a
one.
whole-
Oh,
This
okay.
was
Yep, yep.
I don't even know how
I'm
this
sorry,
got came
I'm sorry.
about.
1593 East
Because we were
Mason.
looking through and we saw another Grand Central station at a different location, and we thought, that's what caused the confusion. But that
Yeah, no, we're talking, there isn't actually two.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Motion to close the floor?
Motion
Anything
to
else?
close-
No, that's
Okay.
it, thank you.
Yes, so moved. Close.
Motion to close the floor, Alder Dorf,
Second.
second by Alder Galvin, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, there was a motion by Alder Zima to amend the motion. Is there a second? Okay, that fails for a second. Any further discussion?
I just feel you have to be somewhat consistent. The fact that people have superior equipment and there's still violations means that there's still some kinks in the process there. In fact, they may be more culpable than the ones that didn't have those things in place. So I don't know, I just feel you have to at least do that to put that on the record. And It's not nothing that's shutting them down.
Right.
My experience, I know that there are people that had as high as 4 or 5 violations, and they also fired employees. So, and then of course, we've had some that didn't, and if somebody made an honest mistake, they come forward and whatever it is, they neglected it. I'm not so sure I'd fire a good employee, but, they have to be punished in some way, otherwise they might do it again. But I know one of the previous people said that, well, they made them pay the fines and they give them some days off without pay and, to get their attention. So, I don't know, we sent letters and I thought that was the mild thing to do. I think you don't send anything when it's, somebody's been in business 10 years and it's their first violation or something. I go along with the idea that you don't even send a letter. But I think you got too many year ethics. You need to be consistent and treat people consistently.
And I appreciate that argument. It makes a lot of sense. But I think with the technology, that's not on board yet. The scanners is what's coming, probably. They're looking at it. Is that a done deal or? Pretty much.
Yeah, we purchased them, so.
Yeah,
they'd be-
okay, yeah, so that hasn't been in place yet. And I think consistency is important, but you have to take each one individually. I mean, there may be circumstances surrounding each incident, and depending upon those circumstances, we may feel more than the letters necessary, depending upon those circumstances. So I think the details do matter, and I'm willing to stand by.
Well, I guess I can go along with it. It's just, the record isn't erased. It's still
No,
all
right.
of them, so.
It's still on record. It's still on record, so. Yep. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries, so no action's gonna be taken.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Now, you should actually, I think, on our agenda from the future, maybe have something about a report, something so we can discuss these things if we need to. Because we
can
really
s-
shouldn't now.
We can start adding the liquor violation reports
Reports.
for discussion.
Discussion. Yeah.
Because this is something I think
Yeah, this is something I'd like to talk
Sure.
about.
is pretty
But
serious.
I think in the past it was just more of a FYI.
Right.
But we can start adding that to the agenda.
I think we should, because I think a lot of times we won't necessarily, but if something comes up like this, I think definitely this is something to discuss, so we'll get this next time.
I'm here next time, so
Would you like this particular report and the next report?
Yes.
So report from January 8th and then whatever the next meeting's report
Mhm.
for discussion.
Yep.
Do we want this person at our meeting to answer to this?
I think at that point, it should just be for discussion purposes only, and then if the committee wishes to pursue a pre-hearing, then we would be able to, otherwise it may be taking on the nature of a pre-hearing without going through the proper channels.
Process, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay.
Has this one been brought to our attention before?
No, there's been other stuff on Board Up, but
I
not
know
this.
there was another one. that-
Yeah, not this establishment, no. So,
Well, maybe we want to at least bring the owner forward to have the committee review this particular incident so that puts them on notice of what's expected of them, because it sounds like this is, there was really no
from speaking with the
cooperation at all.
district captain, I think he's working with that owner already.
Okay.
So I'd like to confer with him a little bit more to see how far along they are in working together.
You want us to put this on a future agenda?
Future, yeah.
Right,
I'm here
the
the
re-
next time.
Right, we'll put the
Well, that's what I'm
report,
talking about.
Yep.
right, we're gonna put the report and the next meeting's report on the agenda for discussion, and then the
Very
committee
good.
can decide whether you want a pre-hearing deferred or not from that point on,
Can we do a pre-hearing?
sort of. Without anybody else, yeah.
Well, I think that wraps it up. I'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Alder Zuma to adjourn, seconded by Alder Dorf. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. What cracks me up? Yeah.
Oh, you heard that, huh?
Yeah, good.